So when you open BEopt, first you see this window and it asks you some simple question, but you can leave them as default. So about the project type, application type, building type, you can leave project type standard, and the application type new construction, and the building type single family detached. And so I click OK here. So in BEopt, there are three main steps that we need to take to analyze the model or the house that we have. The first step, and you can see these three steps here. So the first step is input. The second step is just simply to run the simulation, and the third step to look at the results. In the first step, input, we put all the data that we have for our model into the software. In the second step, we just simply run the simulation, and in the third step, output, we look at the result and we get the report and the data from the analysis. So first step, input, in itself has three main steps. And as we design our house, we will go through these steps. So the first step is, so basically there are three main screens here, and we will go through them. So the first is the geometry screen, which we already are there. This is the software, when the software opens. We are already in the geometry screen. Next is the options screen, and after that, site screen. Basically, in the last step, we decide about the location of the house. So in the geometry screen, as we are here, so we have two windows. As you see on the left, this is the top view of the house, and this window is basically where we design our house. And on the right, we have a 3D basically view of the house. We can look at the house from different angle. So first, to just design something here. So on the left, you see here we have some options to create some spaces. Here we have living, garage, and also we can erase some part that we already draw before. So simply, I'm going to click on living and make just a simple rectangular here. You can, so here, this is a living part. You can see here beds. You can assign the number of beds and baths, and you can also looking at the area of the house. So maybe, okay. So one option here we have is undo and redo. You can see over here. So I want to draw the house a little bigger, so I'm gonna undo it. Okay. This is basically one house with a single floor. So I also want to add a garage here. So my laptop, this is, okay. So I'm gonna add a garage over here. And you also can see the garage here. So one option here we have is erase. So basically when you want to delete, for example, some part of the house, something like this, you can use erase to delete that. So I don't want to do it here, but so I'm gonna undo. Yeah, undo, redo. You can use these. Okay, so if you want to focus on first you want to focus on design, and you don't really need to look at the 3D view, you can click over here to minimize the 3D view. So you can have a better view on your design, and 3D view is still there, but that's one thing to keep in mind. Okay, so on top of over here, you can see the levels for the house. So when we start with BEopt, the first floor, and this is foundation, the basement, we get to that. The first floor is active for us, second floor is not. But when we start drawing on the first floor, the second floor gets activated, as you see here. And as we continue to go to the next floor, the higher floors will be basically active for us to do design on those floors. So now if I go to the second floor, now you see in the second floor what we have is basically attic. So this is what you see here, this is basically a second floor, and is attic or garage roof. So this part is garage roof. So one thing I want to show you here is that, so the attic here is unfinished. So basically it means that nobody's living there. But if I want to have a person living in that part, so I have an option of finish attic. So I'm gonna click over here and draw a finish attic. So one thing, if you notice here, is that a window was created here as I created a finish attic. So let me go back. So unfinished attic, and this is finished attic. So basically here, we're telling BEopt that somebody is living. So this is a living area. You have other options here to design your house. So, but so I don't want to have attic here, so I'm going to undo it. I still want to have a living part in the, basically living area in the second floor. So let's say, so I choose living area, and let's say I want to have the living area same as the first floor. So one thing you can do, you can draw exactly, so something like this. Exactly 2 rectangle to match the first floor. But this is not ideal. So one easy trick to just double click on the area that you are in. So I'm going over here and just double click, you get the whole area as living. So this is useful feature. You don't want to, keep drawing rectangle and yeah. So now that I have living area in the second floor, the third floor is activated for me. So I go over here, so let's look at the house. So, oh, okay. And, okay, so let me bring down a little bit. Okay, so still I want to have a finished attic here in the third floor. Okay. And, oh, maybe, I didn't choose the finished attic. Well, maybe I should do it like that. Still no window. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so I'm gonna leave the finished attic like that. Later we can change that. So now let's go to foundation. So basically basement. So here by default is a slab. So basically it's nothing. You can look at the basement, down here in the 3D view. So I'm just gonna, so you can have crawler space. So crawler space is basically some shallow area where basically the purpose of it is to provide insulation for the house. So I'm going to have like crawler space here. Okay, and I'm going to have a unfinished basement over here. Just by double clicking, I can. So we can see this is a crawler space, and this is an unfinished basement. So one thing you can do, right click, and you can hide. So this disable show ground plane, and yeah, so you can have a better look at your house. The floors and the basement at the same time. Right click and show ground plane. So one other option you have here is to hide or show north arrow. We get to that, to the north direction and the orientation of the house later. But this option is available here. One other option is neighbors. We get to that part also later. Now, right now we don't have neighbors, but later we will have the option to assign neighbors to the house. And so we can remove the roof actually to look at your house. So you can see the separation. So if I go to the third floor, I assign here the finished attic, and you can see the separation between the finished and unfinished attic. So basically there's a partitions between them. So the other thing you can do to have a better look is go to debug and a split surface. So a split surface is basically just to looking at your structure. Basically, different walls are shown in different color. So let me bring back the roof. Yeah, so that you can see, I mean, the separation between the sections. So here we have finished attic, unfinished attic, and the rest is the roof. So let me deactivate the splitter. So these are the options for you to have a better look at your design. Okay, so I think we're almost done in the geometry screen. The only thing is left is that if you look at on the left window, if you look at the top right, we have some options here for each, and as we change the floor, they're changing. So basically here, there are some options are given to us. So for example, in the foundation, we can change the height of the crawl space or basement. So let me increase basement. You see the basement increased, but yeah, so these are the options. Okay. Oh, okay. It was okay. Now, so you can change the height of the basement or crawl space or whatever you have in your basement. So if we go to first floor, we can change the height of the first floor, second floor. So in second floor, we can change the height. So let me increase it by a lot so it's visible. Okay, so you see it's, yeah, it's, but so I intentionally increase it so it's visible. So one thing you can do here, the other option, you have a rooftop. So it's either, so there are two options, gable, which is at this, and you also have hip. So yeah, so like this roof. The reason that it's not this, it didn't happen for the third floor because we are already we are in the second floor. To change these, we also need to go to the third floor and do the same. So the third floor is still gable. So also you can change the height of the floor or pitch. So we can make it like very shallow like this or very sharp. Like, yeah, maybe like this, something like this. So, and also the one other option here is the roof structure. So you have two options, truss or rafter. If I change here, it's not very visible, so I'm gonna do this in the third floor because, yeah. So to see the difference between the truss or rafter, you should look at these. I mean, these are minor details, but I mean, if you're interested to play with these. So if you look at this part of this part of the house, so as I change truss to rafter, you see what's happening to the roof. So you can design your house and, yeah, so let me change this back to heap. You can see, I mean, you can, I mean, design in any way you like. So, yeah, that's, yeah, okay. So I think, so that's for the first step of input part. So basically we design our model, we went through geometry screen and basically design our model. So next step is option screen. So we go over here, click on options screen, and now we are going to assign the property to the materials of the house. So to do a selection here, we can do, I mean, in this part, to do a selection, we have two options. Either we can select from here or on the right. So this part is called matrix. You can select from matrix or on the right window with more details. So I will show you as I'm going to explain the options here. So the first two options you see here is orientation and neighbors. So the first one is by default is north. So if I go back to geometry screen, you see, so this is the front of the house. Let me go to the first floor, so we see garage, okay. Okay, so this is the front of the house, and you see now it's facing north. One thing you can do, you can change that. So you go to options screen, and you can either choose from here or here. So for example, I'm going to choose option 7, southeast. So also you see here is 7, or you can choose different options. So either way it works. So if I go back to geometry screen, you see now this is the front of the house, and you see if you consider this is north, so this is southeast. So you can change the orientation of the house based on your model. The next option in here is neighbors. So for that also you're given multiple options. You can have neighbors on the left and right, and back and front. So I'm just going to choose something here, maybe left and right at 20 feet. So if I go again back to geometry screen, yeah, you see neighbors in the model. Well, if you want to focus on your house, you can hide neighbors. So this option you see now, it's useful for you to have or have not neighbors in your 2D view.
Just to interrupt you for a second, the neighbors, they calculate for the reflection, for the sun reflections impact, and they adjust the wind velocities. So they, kind of neat in that sense. If you are close back, fine. If you don't have any neighbors, that's fine too. Yep.
Okay, so let me hide. Yeah, I'm gonna hide neighbors. That's up to you. So, so we have a lot of options here actually to basically. Let me. So, okay, so you can assign walls for the house, windows, and you have a lot of options here. You can go through them. Conditioning. So one important thing about BEopt is that for your house, you only can assign one type of wall. So you see a lot of options here, but you only can choose one. And for example, if I go here, wood stud, you see the first option is none. So for other options, you see the first one is, all of them, the first one is none. So so it means that you only can choose, it means that they're not active basically. So for example, if I go here and click on one of, if I choose, for example, option number 4, the option number 6 in wood stud is basically going back to 1, which basically not. So keep that in mind. You don't have an option to assign different type of walls to different part of your building. So again, you see if I change, the other one goes back to 1. So for windows, you have here, you have the option to choose from double pane, triple pane. That's, up to you, whatever design you have. And for, conditioning, and there are a lot of options here. Basically, you choose for your house the details that you have for heating system, the type of heating system, and windows and walls. Okay. So, okay, so one thing here is that, so if you go up here, in this panel, you see there are 2 options, analysis and reference. So for analysis, it's design. Later I get to mainly you're going to work with design, but at the end, I'm going to explain a little bit about parametric, because it's kind of useful when you have a multiple design and you want to run simulation for them. So, okay, let's stick to the design for now. So this is our design, and over here, my design, the name is my design. If I rename it, I'm going to say my design 1. So one thing, I want to have the same design with a little bit difference in I don't know, maybe window or wall. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a new design. So right click over here and new design. And I have a new design, so I'm going to rename it to my design 2. So with right click, you can change the name and the new design, or you can delete it. So for example, for the second design, I'm going to change, instead of double pane window, I'm going to change triple pane window. So Maybe that's the only change I want to have here. Again, so I want to create another design. So one thing to keep in mind is that if I right-click over here and create a new design, the third design, the new design will be a copy of the second design, but also can create the third design from the first design. So that's up to you. Basically, whatever design you create a new design, that would be a copy of that one. So so basically, this is the first design that I'm copying to use here. So I'm gonna choose the third one. So here, maybe I'm going to change, for example, walls. Something like that. So I have 3 designs for my house. And when I run simulation with BEopt is going to compare these design for me and tell me how they're doing in terms of the cost and energy performance. I mean, energy consumption. So one thing in BEopt is that BEopt about the reference here, you see, one thing is that BEopt always consider one design as a reference and compare the other design to that design. So basically, this is some sort of comparison. Later you will see that in the result part, the third part, output. But here we can choose that. So the first design usually is by default is the first design. But I can change like second design or third design, or I have another option called BEopt benchmark. So this one here, as I click over here, a reference is added to my design. So this one is a new. So this is kind of in the library of BEopt, is a kind of default thing. So it's good reference to compare your design with this design. So one thing you see here, I don't have options to change anything here. So basically everything, because it's assigned in the BEopt, so you don't have option to change it. However, if you want to have the same, so we want to have this reference, this B10 benchmark, but we want to have a slight change in this model. Something you can do here, you can go and click on user defined. So you get the same B10 benchmark, but you have the option now to change basically the details of your design. But for now, I mean, we can stay here with the first design. So again, so you see here, I have a 3 design, but you might think, ask that, what if I have I want to choose like 5 different walls, and so you have to create 5 different designs. It's not easy, so it's not convenient. So the parametric basically analysis is the way to go. So basically by creating one parametric analysis, you're telling BEopt, so basically run simulations for me for all different options that I chose in my parametric analysis. I get to that part later. But here keep in mind, if you want to change the material of the house, you need to create a new design. One thing important here is that the model of the house is the same for all designs. So you don't have option here to assign different model to different house. Later there is a way to do this. At the end I will briefly talk about it. But now, for this here design, keep that in mind that whatever model you have, the model of the house will be assigned to all all the design that you have here. So that is for option screen. And the last step of the input part is side screen. Okay, so side screen is actually quite brief, so we're not going to spend that much time on it. So here, the first and very important thing, we're going to assign the location of the house. So here, you see you have building, you have location option. These codes, I think, these codes are for some area in California, but you have other options here. some states. So if you can, I mean, obviously these are just a few options here. One thing you can do, you can download your weather file over here. So if you go this, download weather files. So you can choose your, maybe not. So, okay. So you can go over here like Massachusetts, Worcester. I'm not going to download the file, but you can download the file of the city, and then you can open the file in BEopt. So you can have the information of that city added to BEopt. So one thing very important is to visualize weather data. So here you can see a lot of information about that city that you have chose. So for example, and you can look at the data daily and monthly. So here, this is about the radiation, global horizontal radiation over the house. You have wind velocity. You have a lot of information, dry temperature. So you can plot them, and you can look at the basic data of the city, and yeah, wind velocity, all kind of stuff. You can look at them daily or monthly. One thing you use control. If you use control and scroll, you can zoom in and zoom out, and you can look at, for example, like this, if you want to. Yeah. So this way you can look at the information of the city that you're choosing for your house. I'm gonna leave it as default, which is Atlanta, Georgia. So one other thing is terrain. You can choose ocean, plains, rural, suburb, and city. I'm going to leave it as suburb. And the last thing here is you also can add the cost of energy for electricity, natural gas, or other type of energy. So when BEopt run analysis, it can tell you what is the cost of energy. So BEopt not only look at the energy consumption, but also give you the cost. So, I mean, when we look at the result, we will have a better look at the differences.
The output part we can cover tomorrow.
So for, I think we're almost done on the input part. So just quick recap: geometry screen, option screen. We assign material to the house, side screen, we assign location, and now it's ready to run a simulation. I'm not going to do this. It takes some time, but so for second step, running a simulation is very simple. Just hit the run here, and tomorrow we're going to look at the result from this simulation. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so one thing left from input part I didn't point out yesterday is that if you go to option screen, okay, so here, for example, if you go to foundation and floors, what the options you see here is unfinished basement, crawler space, and carpet. So these options are based on the design that we had. So if I go back here to geometry, one thing you see here and if I go to foundation, one thing you see here in foundation I only have crawler space and unfinished basement. That's why I only have these two options in the option screen. So for example, if I add, instead of unfinished basement, I add finished basement here. And if I go back to option screen, what you see here, now I have finished basement. So keep that in mind. As you change your model, or floors and bases, these options disappear and appear. That was one thing I wanted to point out just. And so now, since we have the model and all the data input into the software, we can run simulation. So here we can run simulation. So here the time step is 10 minutes. So basically the software do calculation every 10 minutes for a year. So I think 10 minutes is, so this is iteration step. So 10 minutes is quite good, so we can leave as it is. So, and you can run the simulation. So running a simulation takes some time, so I'm not going to do this, but I have a file here, a model with result to show you and discuss you over the details here. So I mean, the model is a little bit different, but doesn't matter here. So if I go to output and click here, output screen, here we have some result. So first on the top left, here we have basically, for each design, we have a point in this graph. So x-axis is source energy saving. So this is basically about the energy that we save, compared to our reference. So since the reference was chosen the first design, this was the first design, I can select it over here. So that's why it's 0. So based on the reference you choose in the options screen, you can compare how much improvement your design has or has not. So this is about energy saving. And so our preference is to be as right as possible. So we want to be in this area. But y-axis is about the cost. One thing is that not all energy costs the same. Some energy are cheap, some are more expensive. So this is about the cost. For y-axis, we prefer to be as low as possible. So based on these two axes, this is the area we want to be. So here you can see, so design 3 is the best design for us. It saves the most energy and costs the least. So you have the option to also for x-axis and y-axis. So if you go right-click, you also can go on the top menu graph, and here cost energy graph. You can choose for y and a different type of parameter for y and x-axis. You also can copy or export data for your report. So copy image, export image or data. So that is for the top left. For bottom left, so what we have here, so let me select all the design we have. Okay, sorry. No, okay. So here we have basically, we can see the energy consumption, energy usage of basically different type that we have in our house. So for example, you see here hot water, heating, cooling, and other lights and other stuff. One thing you can do here, so we have some options. I mean, one thing you can do, graph. So you also can choose different parameters for your graph here. You can hide labels. So when I mean, if you prefer. One thing here is that some of these basically energy usage are the same for all the design, and so they are not good to have a good comparison. And maybe you want to hide them, so you can do this by going over here and hide constant and use. So you see some of the energy usage is hidden because they were the same. So when it comes to comparing your design, they don't matter here. And yeah, I think these are mainly the options you have here. You also, same as the top graph, you can export your image, your data for your report. So now we go to the right window. So here on the right window, what you see is similar to matrices that we had in the option screen. So here, this window is telling us what was the feature that was different from our reference design. One thing here, I can choose different design as a reference. So here, the first design by default is a reference design. So for example, you can see wood stud, I mean, the wall was chosen, different type of wall was chosen for different design. So we can look at over here. So for other parameters that were the same for all design, you don't see anything here. And also BEopt is showing us if that parameter was helping or was making energy consumption or usage worse. So if it's green, it means that was good. You improve your reference design by making this change. Or also you made it worse. You have the option to change your reference design. For example, if I go to design 2, so basically now the second design is my reference, and other design are looked at compared to this design. Okay, so again, right click here, we can copy export image data, and also you have these options. So I think now we want to get, so you have you can get report and data from these windows, but also we want to get monthly, yearly, not yearly, hourly, and daily report. So you go over here and generate hourly output. So it takes some time when you do this, but I already have open the window here. So you get something like that. We have on top, we have hourly, daily, monthly, and some other options. So if you go over daily, so basically this is this is the total energy usage. We have electricity, we have gas, we have cooling or other type. So you can see for electricity is high in summer, it's low in winter, and for gas is the other way. So this is.
When we look at different colors, can you just tell what's the red, what's the orange?
Yeah. Over here, you can see the colors. You can see. So blue one is total, the orange one is electricity, and the dark red one is gas.
It's difficult sometimes for them to read. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I was asking.
Okay. So you can zoom in with holding control and a scroll. You can zoom in. You can go to, if you want to look at data, you can like that. You also have monthly, and you also have here heat report. Basically, this is the total energy over hours of the day. Yeah. So you can see here, the electricity in summer is highest. And so you can get this result from from BEopt and put them in your report. So
And you skipped the monthly one. Just
okay, monthly.
monthly
Yeah.
is the most important.
Yeah, monthly. Yes.
So that's,
So for monthly, you see electricity is highest in summer and lower in winter, and gas is the other way, highest in winter and lowest in.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the most important, yearly and monthly, because first of all, your bills are paid monthly, right? So that's the natural sequence, and yearly is the complete cycle. So those two is for hourly, that's what you will see that I want only 1 hour, just to show that you can do it. But hourly doesn't help you a whole lot in terms of the performance. It's the monthly and the yearly cumulative that makes the difference, especially when you compare different locations. You know, remember, you will be comparing with extremes. You will have one reference, and then you will choose Alaska or Miami or San Diego, and then when you compare the performances, you will of course talk about the yearly, and you can compare the monthly performances as well.
One other thing you can do here, you can plot the data in the second window like that. I mean, that's up to you to have better comparison. Okay, so that is basically for looking at the report. Now, so just some other features of BEopt I want to discuss here. So now let's say I have run the simulation and I have the results. So let's say I want to change my model. If I go back, you see something like this. So they are deactivated. I cannot change my model. And I see a message here. So basically, the message is telling us either we have to create a new case or clear our current result. The reason is that it could happen that you run a simulation, you have your result here, and you go and change your model and save your file without running the simulation. So when later you open your file, you think that those results were for this model, but that's not the case. So to prevent that, BEopt doesn't allow you to change model unless you clear the result. So this is something, and it could happen actually. So here, either I can clear the result or create a new case. But I'm going to create a new case here to show you some other features of BEopt. So when you do this, you also can create a new case over here, new case, from top menu. So you see, I have now two different cases. So a new menu is added to BEopt, and now I have option to change cases. So yesterday I mentioned that if you want to have multiple design, but the location is different, you cannot do this. So let me bring back this file. Okay, so here yesterday I was saying that you cannot have, if you have multiple design like this, the location will be the same for all of them, and the model would be the same. Having different cases is the option to have, like this, to have different location and different models. So my case is basically the case I already have the results. So here I create a new case. Now, green means that the model is with the simulation result. Gray means that it doesn't have a simulation result. So this model I need to run because I need to run the simulation to have result. Because I just created it and there's no result there. So that is for green and gray. You also see the symbol D for the icons. So one thing I'm going to do, so design we worked on, yesterday. So I'm going to choose here parametric. So let me go first to option screen. And so I'm going to choose parametric. So yesterday I briefly talked about parametric, and here we're going to see more detail. What is parametric? So it's telling me that if I change the analysis to parametric, all my design will be deleted, and I will have just one parametric study. And here it is. So I have a parametric study. So the benefit of parametric study is that I can choose different feature so basically I can create different design in one parametric study, and running one simulation, multiple design at the same time will be run with BEopt. So for example, here for wall, maybe I want to choose like 3 options. So basically I'm telling BEopt to run simulation for these 3 different walls in 3 different design and show the result all together for me. So that's the benefit. So you don't have to create here 3 different design. One parametric study, one parametric study is enough. So maybe I have different type. I want to consider different type of windows. So I have double here, and I'm going to choose one triple pane as well. So here I have 2 type of windows and 3 type of walls. BEopt does the calculation or simulation for the all combination of the choices that I have. So since I chose 3 walls and 2 windows, BEopt is going to run a simulation for 6 design. Basically, each of the wall with each of the window. So we will have. So you see, if you want to have different parameters, you need to create a lot of different design. But with one parametric study, you can do it all the simulation in just one design, in one basically simulation. Obviously, it takes more time as you keep adding more options, I mean, to your parametric study, but it's easier for you. So, yeah, so that is for.
You have access to the reports, right? Past reports.
Yeah. I'm going to share those as well.
That's the
Yeah. So I think that's all for. Yeah. So just quickly to point out. So you see here, in my case, I can go to different geometry and have different geometry and different. Obviously, I cannot. I mean, do this because I still need to clear the result. If I don't want to do this, I can go. And by the way, since I changed the analysis to parametric, you see the symbol is now P, and it's great because I haven't run. So now I can change the model. The options are available to me. I can change. I mean, these are we talk about, and I can change the location. So if you have the same model at different location, you still need to create different cases because having different location is not available to you through different design. So I think that's all for BEopt.